everything's looking great. I've been doing rehab. Rehab's been going well. I'm on track, even a bit ahead of what I was doing as I was able to run my 40 at Pro Day. But everything's looking great, and I'm feeling amazing.
After the injury, just kind of what went into the decision to sit it down for that last season of college, and just kind of how do you feel like you're at having not played this long, just freshness-wise?
Yeah, I knew physically I was ready to, compete at the next level, but my big thing was mentally. Was I mentally prepared? And, you won't last in this league if you're not mentally prepared for this, going on competing with the best of the best. And I had been getting ready my whole freshman year. Since I came into college, I was preparing myself like that, surrounding myself with veterans and taking upon their habits. And that's, at this point now, I learned so much from my injury as well. And I came out, even better from it mentally. And, with that decision going to make that decision was much easier.
How tough was it on you to sit out while Penn State was making a deep run in the playoff last year?
Yeah, it was tough. It was super tough. My biggest thing is, I want to go out there and compete with my guys, be able to help the teammates, be a leader out there. But, it's hard, but I have to suck it up. And, at that point, I have to be a leader regardless if I'm on the field or not. And I was happy. I was happy and felt good with the fact that we, made it that far in the season. And, when I came out the field, I truly feel there was no drop off. Guys came in and, they picked up right where we left off, and we had a great defense no matter what.
How much did you know maybe Derrick Wilson through Coach McGregor before you even were in touch with the Titans? And how much do you know him now, and how much did you talk to Matha?
I didn't talk to him much at the Matha, but, I'm going to get to know him very well now. So it's going to be a great relationship.
Kevin, speaking of the injury last year, I think I read where you basically stayed on the sideline for just about every single game, even after the injury.
Yeah,
is that common, or kind of what went into that thought process there?
I mean, as a team and as a leader of the team, I took it upon myself. I think, as the culture we had, every player we had on the team would have did such. But I think, mentally going into it for me, once I get hurt, it's not, oh man, I can go just leave and that, not be around. At that point, I'm still a leader. I was still a captain of the team, and it was my job to, be there no matter what, if I'm on the field or not. And that's why, I took the accountability to do that, and that's what I did.
Kevin, was it the left knee or the right knee for you? And whenever you had that injury, was the initial thought that you were going to go into the draft, or did you think about returning to Penn State?
Yeah, it was my right knee, and I had to talk with my inner circle and everybody around me, figured out my decision, and obviously, ultimately, think about what I feel is best for me and where I was mentally. And like I said, everything went for the mental part for me. I had to think on that, and I felt great with it, and that's how it all went down.
Some people have said if not for the injury, you might have been first round guy. I mean, how hard was it to not pay attention to some of that stuff? How good do you feel about the Titans picking you? Faith that you're going to bounce back from this.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it could have been that, would have been that. I'm right now, I'm a Titan, and I'm ready to be a great teammate for the Titans, become a leader, earn the respect of my teammates, and do that. And that's all I'm looking forward to. And I'm a Titan, and I plan to be a Titan for life. So that's what I'm planning for.
What's the skyline behind you? You got a pretty good view. Where are you?
I'm in New York. I'm actually in Manhattan right now. I'm in New York.
What are you doing there?
So my agency is in New York. So I did my celebration in New York.
Kevin, how would you describe yourself as a player? What do you think your strengths are, and what are you kind of working on as you go to the next level here?
Biggest thing I feel like is though I'm a great leader, teammate overall. I'm my teammate. I'm gonna earn the trust of my teammates, earn the respect, and they'll know that I'm gonna go out there and leave it all out on the field because that's how much I respect and care for my teammates, to not let them down. And overall as a player, I'm gonna go out there, whatever the job is for the team, put us in the best position. That's what I'm gonna do. Whether it doesn't matter what that may be. I'm willing to go out there and do it at a high level, and no complaints or anything. I'm just ready to put my head down and work.
Hi, Kevin. Congratulations. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you talked a lot about the mental piece, both in being ready for the league and in relation to the injury. So how do you think you grew mentally, and what was the most important part of that makes you feel ready now?
Yeah, for me, the big thing was this happened in a time where, I had one of my best games, the first game, and going into the next game, I'm looking, everything's going, trending the right direction for me, and I feel like I'm on top of the world. Games coming slow, and everything's starting to slow down, and I had the injury happens, and you have to be real tough mentally to make it through that injury. Go fight day after day. Where I'm watching my teammates go out there and practice, go hard, which they end up winning, so I was happy. But I would love to be out there with them. But going through the process, I had to think, control what I could control. And at that point, what I could control was how hard I attacked, rehab every day. So my season got taken away from me. And now I had to apply the same, aggression and the same intensity that I would to my season. Now it goes to my rehab. And I think, through that, I grew so much mentally, watched so much more film. You start to appreciate everything, don't take things for granted. And, now, I didn't take football for granted then, and it's even more to a bigger degree now. So I'm blessed.
Kevin, what if the Titans told you about how they're going to use you position-wise, and just kind of what are your expectations for playing time on the field with two established safeties in front of you?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet what it's going to be, but whatever it is, I'm willing to do, and whatever I have to do to be, the best teammate, best player for the team. And, I'm ready. My big thing coming in is to earn respect. And I'm coming in ready to play. I'm be ready to play on the defense side, special teams, whatever it may be. And I'm ready. I'm earning respect of my teammates, coaches, everybody in the building about how I conduct myself as a person, not only as a player, but as a person as well. And that's what I'm ready to do.
Not sure you know him, but I'm sure you've seen him play. What are your thoughts on being a teammate with Cam Ward as he comes in and the Titans try to reset the organization?
Yeah, he's a great player. I've watched him all throughout this season, and I just love how poised he is. I love how poised he is. That's the big thing. The way how poised he is as a player and how he attacks the game, and nothing phases him. And just simply, you talk about his arm. That's the easy thing, the easy way out. Oh, he has a great arm. He's a great quarterback. That's what is clear as day. But my big thing is how poised he can be. No matter what, if he can throw an interception, he can have a slow start to a game. No matter what, he's going to be. We know, he's going to get the best out of him in the big moments, and that's what I'm excited to play with him.
Kevin, you talked about being able to run your 40 at Pro Day. Was that a surprise? And are you expecting any limitations for you from rookie minicamp through the summer?
No, it wasn't surprising for me. That was kind of the date I had circled for me once I had got injured. My big thing was, when is the next time I'll be able to compete? And that was the next time I knew that I'll be able to go out there and compete. And I was, every day in rehab, that's all I was thinking about, being able to put myself in a position to run. And, I'm not sure what it'll be yet, but I'm going through rehab right now and I'm feeling amazing. And, I'm ready to go whenever that time is. I'll be ready to go.
Kayla, go ahead.
Hey, Kevin, welcome to Nashville. I know your dad played ball at JMU. He's a defensive end there. And I know the recruiting process, he gave you a lot of advice there when you ended up selecting Penn State. What's kind of the advice he's given you through this time of rehabbing and overcoming some of those difficulties and knowing now you're going to the next level?
Yeah, the big thing with him was controlling what I can control. And he was the person that, throughout my life, no matter what happened, no matter what was at stake, I had to do nothing changes for me and how I attack, everything. And, I was attacking my season one way, and he told me, basically, now that my season's over, I had to attack rehab the exact same way. And having him around throughout the process, you talk about Penn State, going through Penn State, his big thing was, finding people that are honest with me, people that keep it real with me. In the process, people will tell you, they promise you numbers, promise you a starting spot. And we chose Penn State, I'll say as my family, me and my dad talked about it, and we chose Penn State essentially because they were the ones that kept it honest with me and told me, when you come here, we have great players, but we can see you, if you compete and, earn and respect your teammates, you can be a great player here. And, having my dad around, even coming to this next level, I had him by my side this whole time, obviously not knowing where you're going to go, but, with the mindset I have and I learned from my father, no matter where I go, what I have to do, I'm going to be the best person I can possibly be and the best teammate I can possibly be. And I'm excited to do that in Tennessee.